Hello, everybody. Hey, welcome back to Old Style Classics Baseball Cards. It's Rob on August 21st, 2024, 9:30 p.m. So, got some time to do some more video, and just showed you guys my Goodwin Champion relics and some other short prints. And so, I want to continue on with the old Goodwin Champions theme, and this will come out tomorrow. I've got it split up into two little sets of these little top-loaded cards. There's some base stuff, and then these are the top-loaded short prints from Goodwin Champions through the years. We're talking about Upper Deck, folks. Upper Deck's answer to Topps, Allen, and Ginter. So anyone like, subscribe, leave a message, send people my way who might like this kind of stuff. We're up to 169 subscribers, so I really appreciate it. But you guys know me, I love tobacco minis. So we're going to do a special tobacco card Thursday. Normally we do mini tobacco Tuesday, but we're going to extend it into Thursday because I feel like showing you guys my Goodwin stuff. Now we're going to show you this card first and foremost from 2009. And as comparison, there's the Gaudy size cards. And let me see if I can find a regular size card here. So, Allen and Ginter is Goodwin Champions. Goodwin Upper Deck's answer to Allen and Ginter. So there's base card versus a tobacco mini. So, but this one here, Goodwin, beautiful set of cards. There's Derek Jeter. I put him in that top loader because it's Derek Jeter, and I know he's pretty collectible amongst a lot of you folks on the Yankees. So this one Upper Deck still had the license to do Major League Baseball. And as you can see, we got 2009 Goodwin. So what I'm going to show you is the short prints. And then, so that'll probably take two videos. And then I'll get around to doing the Goodwin Champions autographs. And then at some point in the future, then I'll probably start going through some base stuff with just these base backs. But today we're doing the short prints, and much like the Gypsy Queens and the Diamond Kings, and maybe like the Allen and Ginter backs, Brooklyn backs, and Bazooka backs, what we're looking for is the different back than this. So this number 2, Derek Jeter, it's just got the cardboard back. I just love these beautiful, simple cards. So unlike Allen and Ginter, lucky for me I have them here. The difference, Allen and Ginter uses the white backs, and then the Upper Deck used these regular cardboard backs. And then of course Allen and Ginter has short prints like these black borders, so that's kind of what Goodwin did early on. So there's an example, and we're going to get right to it. So there's a Gypsy Queen back, and much like I said, you can look at that, and I just showed you guys my Gypsy Queens, and one of those large cards had Gypsy Queen back, same basic image. So I don't know how they copyright or do any of that stuff based on those old 1800 cards, if it's just kind of public domain now that anybody can use it. And then also Panini Golden Age did some similar stuff too. But there's the difference in the backs that we're talking about. So here's the base, and here's the regular. There's the front of a base card. And I'm not really particularly looking at short prints as far as the number goes for this video. Goodwin's a smaller set than say Allen and Ginter, so it could be like 150 cards, 200 or something. Easily look up each year on a Baseball Cardpedia. But there's your difference. So that's the base, just that kind of khaki color, kind of a tan. And then the black borders are Upper Deck's short prints. And the Gypsy Queen is kind of consider that like an A and G back on Allen and Ginter, or maybe more like a black border. We'd have to look at the odds to figure out what the equivalent is, but I'm going to say that's something like a black border or an Allen Ginter back. Probably a little rarer than an A&G back, but not as rare as like a no number. So I don't think. So anyways, there you go, Derek Jeter. Derick Jeter. Alright, so then we got this beautiful Whitey Ford, and we just showed you his relic card on the last episode, so you can go look at that. And Gypsy Queen from Upper Deck. I bought a lot of these 2009s, people, and I got most of them out of the bargain bins at the local card shop when I moved here. So it was a couple years after these cards had came out, because I didn't really move here to 2011, but whatever they had left over in those bargain bins, I bought them. So they must have emptied some of their hobby boxes and stuff that they had open for people to buy single packs, and dumped them into the, dumped them into one of those bargain bins. And I bought most of that kind of stuff up because I'm a huge fan of tobacco cards. And there we go, Upton. So we're going to have a little trouble identifying some of these people, but I built it as a BJ Upton because it's not going to have their name on it. So once again, a Gypsy Queen back, number 42. They probably should have put Jackie Robinson in there on one of those. And let's take a look real quick, see if they have any codes or anything. Then we'll just get trucking. So I don't know what this little square down here is, the NSLY5. Is it different on this one? Yeah, so that one has a different code. So maybe that's their version of code. But super cool. Red back, Gypsy Queen. I believe that's BJ Upton. If I'm wrong, please leave a comment. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. Alright, here we go, folks. Upper Deck mainstay, LeBron James. No longer a mainstay with Upper Deck as of recent times, but for the longest time, LeBron James was pretty much a Upper Deck signee. And that would be one of the ones that you're looking for. So much like Allen and Ginter, but maybe early Goodwin champions even more so. Like Allen and Ginter from Topps is about 80 to 90% baseball, and the rest just kind of random stuff like basketball and football and stuff like that. Celebrities. Goodwin early on was very similar. But as time went on, they've become very, like 10% baseball, and the rest is just kind of random stuff. But Goodwin, much like the original Allen and Ginter, and the original Goodwin was not a baseball card set, it was a champions set. So you get different athletes from different sports. And so you're going to see a lot of that in Goodwin because they didn't, well, especially when they lost the license. Later on and even up till today, but they don't do minis anymore, and that's when I kind of stopped. So once again, LeBron James 73 on the Gypsy Queen back. I think what Joey Votto announced, he's retiring today. I believe the Cubs got smoked by Detroit today. Veritek. So the Red Sox there, cousin from Boston. Gypsy Queen number 78. Alright, so who we got here? Troy for the Colorado Rockies, shortstop, looks like. Troy Tulowitzki on the Gypsy Queen back. So there we go. Next. Chamberlain. I believe that's what it says. Yep, Chamberlain. Pitcher for the Yankees. Once again, Gypsy Queen back. Bedard. So I don't know if that's Connor or who that is. It looks like he has short legs from that angle. That image particularly looks like a turkey red to me on the Gypsy Queen 213. So we know it's over, so maybe it's a 250 card set. Alright, this is Guthrie. I love these hats. I love that logo for the Oreos. The little Oreo bird, like the realistic bird, on a Gypsy Queen. Rios for Tampa Bay with those old uniforms. Oh, Blue Jays, my bad. I was gonna say, look, I thought that was the Rays. But those are the Blue Jays. Kind of modern looking uniform there. I'm not a big fan of. 242. Gomez. Outfielder for the Twins. So I don't know who that is, because it's also a Gypsy Queen back. So if you know, let me know. Alright, and here we go. Some pugilists. So that one there was the end of the 2009s. I really didn't get a whole lot of 2010 because, like I said, I just moved here. So I didn't know about this stuff before I moved here. And then after I moved here, the only stuff they really had in that bargain box was the 2009s. So I really didn't get a whole lot of 2010s. I know I have some, but I don't think I got enough to where I got any of the short print minis. So then I had to wait, and probably because I was buying them out of the bargain bin from 2009, they didn't have any of the 2010s in the bargain box because they were probably just selling them at that point in time. And then when I started buying this stuff, the 2011s came out, and I probably bought some blasters. So here's a 2011 pugilist, John L. Sullivan boxing cards. Like I said, boxing cards are always super cool, especially in tobacco minis. Beautiful design change, because I think 2010 was kind of a not as good a image, like not as good a look on the cards, and they kind of went back in 2011 and improved the look a little bit there. But I don't have a 2010 on hand to compare it to. And once again, same as the Gypsy Queen, except now they've changed it to Lady Luck. So maybe at that point in time, Topps got on them for using the Gypsy Queen. So maybe there was some legal reason. So they changed it to Lady Luck. Everything else the same though. So I don't know if that happened in 2010, if they were still Gypsy Queens, or had they switched over to Lady Luck just to avoid any problems. So I guess that's their code. So pretty cool. I like this little design down there, and it's very Allen and Ginter-esque mixed with Gypsy Queen. But Goodwin and original Allen and Ginter and original Goodwins were nothing alike either, other than they were tobacco cards at the same time. They had the same subjects, but looks-wise, the Goodwins are very Gypsy Queen-ish, more so than Allen and Ginter-esque. Although they've had a set, at least one set that I know of, Goodwin, that was kind of Allen and Ginter-like, with like the white cards. So that's pretty cool. Love those. Alright, then we move on here, and we got hockey player Evgeny Malkin hockey. Of course, in the street clothes because they don't have the license for hockey. But just look at that scrolling and the little eagle and all that down there. What's that say? Center. So he's a center. So I don't even know what team he's on. And I'm not even sure what those E and M stand for. Let me see if it's different on the other card. Oh yeah, John Sullivan, JS. So maybe that's Edmonton, the E and the M, I'm not sure. Oh no, it's his initials. So they put the initials in these little circles down here. That's cool. Alright, next we have Brittany Lincecum with a C, which C's instead of an S. So Brittany, so female golfer. Lady Luck. So I don't know how much Lady Luck she has. I've really never heard of her. But she's apparently a professional golfer. So then we got the male golfers, Anthony Kim for golf. So as you can see, we're starting to drift away from baseball at this point in time. So it's been 2 years since the first set of these Goodwin champions, and you're starting to notice a lot of non-baseball sports figures. 98. You know, and then the baseball players you would get were probably more the retired ones, like Carlton Fisk here, looking like a lumberjack outside of his cabin, but Hall of Famer Carlton Fisk. And I'm alright with this stuff because you can get enough cards of any of these people playing baseball or in their uniforms, and then having it airbrushed out, sometimes that kind of sucks. So I don't mind the occasional getting dude just kind of regular clothes, kind of day-to-day life. That doesn't bother me. You know, if it was all the time, then it would be a little less what's the word I'm looking for? Desirable. Hold on a second, folks. Alright, folks, thank you for hanging in there that 1 second that I was paused, you guys. Alright, and then we have Max Messier. Well, Mark Messier, sorry. Of course, for hockey, there's a big name. Messier. Hockey. Oh, and another thing that came out around the same time, if you're into hockey, now I showed some of these cards in the past, just a few singles, like Patrick Kane and Jonathan Towles. But around the same time, Upper Deck put out NHL the Champs cards. So I believe it's Upper Deck Champs, and one of the boxes has, it looks kind of like the Loch Ness Monster on it, but they're old style cards for hockey, particularly all hockey, and it's super cool set. It's very similar, you know, old-fashioned tobacco cards were part of it, with the old style look to them, and based on that old Champs stuff. And it's just super cool. If you can find that stuff and you're into hockey, I highly recommend it. Those are just beautiful cards. And then now recently they've been doing an old style classic kind of cards, well, for a while I should say, the Parkhurst, which are like based on the 50s, and those are super cool too. They have minis, but they're a little shorter and just a tad bit wider, but they're very much kind of like this. All right, Aaron Crow, baseball player, so don't know if he ever became anything. So this is what happened when they lost the license. You start getting this airbrush stuff, and usually kind of prospect stuff. So Aaron Crow, I wonder if he's related to Pete Crow Armstrong, but nevertheless, still on the Gypsy Queen Lady Luck back. So not sure whatever happened with this guy. This one's pretty cool image of Ryan Lavarnaway, baseball catcher. I've never heard of him, but that's still a cool image. That kind of reminds me of those Helmar Brewing cards I showed you. But that's still a pretty cool card, even if he never really made it. And that's kind of what Goodwin, Panini, and a lot of those guys got reduced to doing, is kind of prospecting, putting out minor leaguers or prospects and stuff like that. But still pretty cool card on the Lady Luck. And the last one from this little set is LaVon Washington. So LaVon Washington, baseball, don't think he ever made it up or anything. So hold on a second, folks. Once again. Alright, folks, just really quick, I did have the champs in this box. So just show you that they did have these. And like I said, 2009, 2010. So at the same time, they had the champs with they had their own little variations. So that definitely, and then of course Panini's answer to all this stuff was like the Diamond King. So I have one of their minis in here as well. So I'm at 21 minutes. So I think maybe I'm going to give it a go. Let's see if we can get through these because I've been burning through them pretty quick. Because I'd rather do it in one video instead of two. If you guys don't mind, let's get to it. Alright, and then now we have moved on to, it's like 2012 maybe. Yep. So 2012, another design change. And that is Martin Laird. These are the 2012s, and now they're green. So just different style that year, still old school. Lady Luck, a little more pulpy paperback, you know, like a little more fuzzy on those. Alright, just a second. Trying to keep these in order, people. So there's that one. That is number 14, 149. Okay, so then Warren Moon, people. There you go. Mr. Warren Moon, NFL great. Houston Oilers back in the day. Then we got Steve Stricker. That's funny. We had a guy in Albuquerque who was the morning weatherman, Steve Stucker. That's what I thought. This dude always does the Bloom Fiesta stuff. Alright, Lady Luck back. Alright, Jason Kidd. So NBA, Jason Kidd. 2012. Now we're moving on to another season. Another set. 2013, folks. So when I was thinking around now is when you started to get less minis. Like not per pack, maybe one per 5 packs. But Jason Haylicker? Lisek. Lady Luck. I like the bright green though, that looks cool. That one's got some pop to it. Alright, then Zach Lee baseball. So I think he's made it up. So there's one of the ones that they made a shot at, and he made it to the big leagues. Zach Lee. I don't know what's going on in the background there. Looks like some stables or something. Zach Lee. Alright, now we're moving on to the next set. And I believe that they decided they needed to do a little more in 2014. They needed to go with some more bigger names. So I think they got some veterans. So like the big hunk here. Frank Thomas, you mean the big hurt? More like the big hunk. Those are cool. I like that little wood design and kind of little 87 tops-ish with that green. So green and brown always work well. Frank Thomas, folks. Number 1, Lady Luck again. LaDainian Tomlinson. There you go. There's the name from the past on the Lady Luck. John Elway. So Mr. John Elway. Don't know what uniform that's supposed to be. But there's a champion, John Elway. Dan Gurney, race car driver, Dan Gurney. Pretty nice. Lady Luck. Paul George. There you go, basketball. Mr. Paul George. Some cool old style classic cards here, people. I dig it. Bobby Orr, there you go. I believe he recently passed away. I might be wrong, maybe it's Bobby Hall, but Bobby Orr. Lady Luck. Alright, here you go, people. How about this? Remember old Icky Woods? If you're in our age range, you should remember old Icky Woods. The Icky Shuffle. And Lady Luck. Dr. J, folks. There you go. Julius Erving. He was just at that Santa Clara card show, the convention center, that I missed like a month and a half ago, because I didn't hear great things, but he was there signing if you were so inclined. The great Dr. J, Julius Erving. I'd like his autograph, but I'm not going to pay for one, so. Bo Jackson. There you go. Bo Nose. Bo Nose Jackson. I bet you he had some Lady Luck back in the day. Alright. Cordell Stewart, folks. So as you're seeing, less baseball. More whatever they could get. Cordell Stewart. Charlie Taylor. There you go, Charlie Taylor, football. Beautiful cards that year. I really dig these ones. 2014. Karl Malone. So Karl Malone from the Utah Jazz. And old Karl Malone in Albuquerque had a Karl Malone Toyota or something like that. Right there on Eubank next to the Walmart and I-25. So got himself into the car dealership. Wonder if he's still doing it, because I don't think that place is still there. Well, not under his name. Alright, this is an old school Eugene Sandow bodybuilder. So this is probably from the original Goodwin Champions time, the 1880s or 1890s. Would be my guess. Lady Luck. Alright. Barbados Joe Walcott. Boxer, pugilist. Cool. Love the boxing cards. Edward Garrison. Jockey. Quite the stash there. Definitely some Allen Ginter's mustache going on there. Lady Luck. Jose Mendy. Jose Mendy. He might be a Cuban baseball player. Sold Orlando. You can, if you watch this episode, let me know. Jose Mendy on the short print Lady Luck back. And Tip O'Neill, and not the politician Tip O'Neill, I don't think. Tip O'Neill baseball. So that's it, folks. We're going out with baseball player Tip O'Neill. Did you ever think that would be a mini? Alright, folks, so that's that. What we have left in here, I believe I got Panini coming up next. Golden Age is what's left in this box, plus some racing ones. They did some old school racing ones, which were pretty cool too, for NASCAR. And pocket portraits. It looks like 2009 NASCAR. So Press Pass did some too. And then a little hint of Panini Golden Age doing some different backs. So we got all this stuff coming. We've got a bunch more base minis. We still got these. Yeah, but we're going to do the Goodwin champion autographs. Alright, folks, so thanks for watching Old Style Classics baseball cards. Wishing you some lady luck on your Thursday. See ya.